Life happens to everyone and to all of us, and we grow and we continue to live in this society. Our society consists of various groups. These groups are present everywhere in the society. These groups are based on many things that happens in the society, that is like age, sex, community, and educational qualification, economy, and all these things make various kinds of groups. Although the groups are universal, the characteristics of the groups change in from one situation to another. But the thing is, the people within the group are the members of the group. They always stay in the group, but the status and the role of the members in the same group or maybe the other group changes. The members never stay the same, or they never are static. The status of none of the individuals in these groups stay same all the time. We go through many phases in our life where the transition from one status to another status happens, and with the status change affects us as the change of role. We have to perform differently. We have separate kinds of values to perform and show ourselves differently. This concept, although is very common to us, and it may seem that it is very common to everyone, but this concept is first been given by Arnold van Gennep. He gave the concept as rites de passage. We as an English people use this concept as life cycle or rites of passage. He gave the concept of rites de passage into 3 steps. He separated each of the life cycle phases into 3 phases, that is separation, liminality, and reincorporation. Separation is the first phase of the life cycle, where an individual who belongs to the previous group leaves the group, maybe by a ritual, by some kind of secular institutive phases or anything. He leaves the previous groups and is not a part of the old group anymore. Liminality, it is one of the most important phases of life cycle, that is when the ritual happens, when the member leaves the previous group and joins the next group, the ritual that makes the person give or have the new status or role. And the last stage is reincorporation, when the member is transferred to a new group and joins the group as a new member of a new group. That is, he can have new status, he can have new roles, and these 3 phases can happen definitely in a traditional ritualistic societies, or definitely is present in any kind of secular societies also. We can take an example of a bride who is not a bride anymore, who is a young woman who is not married. She belongs to a group of non-married girls, young women. When she got engaged, she is not an unmarried woman anymore. She is an engaged woman who is different from young unmarried woman, and she leaves the previous group. Then at the day of her wedding, in which day she is gonna get married, she is not a young woman, she is a bride, but she is not even gotten married yet. So she is not a married woman, but she is a bride. So she stays in the liminal phase, that is being a bride, and she gets married. Most of the time there happens some kind of rituals associating the marriage, and the process when the ritual happens, that's a phase of liminality. And after the marriage happens, after the marriage completes, then it's the process of reincorporation. She is now a married woman. She is never gonna belong to the previous group anymore. She belongs to a new group, and she has a new status, and with that new status comes some separate kind of roles that she has to play. We can say that although this is an example of a traditionalistic ritualistic process that happens as a life cycle, we can also give various secular examples as a part of life cycle. We can say coming out ceremonies are also a part of life cycle. Coming out ceremonies are very much about the concept of leaving the previous group and joining the new group. and the process that happens is definitely the liminal period. We can also take the example of an army man who cuts their hair before joining army. So when he cuts the hair and prepares before joining army, he is not an army man, but he is also not a normal civilian. The phase is separation. And then the process when he trains to become an army, then that's the process of liminality. And when he becomes the army and gets as engaged as an army man, he is now an army man, and that's the reincorporation of a group. He is now totally different from normal citizens, and he is forever army. So he has to play some kinds of roles which are connected with that status he has acquired. Life cycle can be seen universally, but there is very much kind of controversies around life cycle, as if the rituals or the phases, that 3 phases, are present everywhere. Although many scholars say that these phases are present everywhere, some scholars also say that there are many societies which skip some steps to explain life cycle, or to give or reincorporate a person in a separate status or a role. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.